like the idea is that there isn't a curriculum, but there is a curriculum. And if you go to the Sex Education Forum, you can find it, but it's never been spelt out to parents. There's this sort of guidance, but no curriculum. But if you look at all these providers, they're all teaching the same thing. They're all teaching the same thing in different ways. There really is a curriculum, but it just was not spelt out because they knew if they did, parents would absolutely object. Right. I mean, there's different elements to this, but if you look at these curriculums that I'm talking about, they are actually, they come directly from the United Nations and the World Health Organization, which sounds really good, but it's really not. I was reading a report that the Safe Schools Alliance produced, which took me to these reports. And if you read them, this is actually the source. So the UN and the World Health Organization, their philosophy is that children are sexual from birth, and that children have sexual rights to realize their sexuality. And this is a very strange thinking, and what it means is that providers can freely sexualize children because they're seen as already sexual. And it kind of and so if you read these things, I mean, this Safe Schools Alliance report, it's quite an eye opener because they are literally from the youngest ages teaching. This is where it comes from. This thing of teaching 4-year-olds about masturbation, for example. It's actually, and you can see if you look at the Sex Education Forum, the curriculum that they've developed for themselves. It actually comes straight from the United Nations, UNESCO, I think it's UNESCO, World Health Organization. And I've looked across a number of these providers, and you can always find this UNESCO link. So that is a really significant source of it. I hope that we can push back on it. I think it's a tough one. I think parents need to wake up to what's going on. I was quite interested. Did you hear about this candy kittens thing?
No.
Okay. It kind of went a bit viral on Twitter. A parent discovered a packet of sweets on a supermarket shelf that was advertising, it's candy kittens, and it was advertising a Netflix series that was for over 18s. And this candy kittens packet of sweets actually contained condom-shaped sweets. And it was, really. And it was in the shelf with all the other sweets. And it had links to advertisements where you saw a boy and a girl in bed with each other. And it had these links to the Netflix sex series. And this went viral. And within 2 weeks, I think, it's just been a couple of weeks, those sweets have been removed from the shelf. And I just thought, well, good on all these parents, but your kids are getting stuff that's much worse than this at school, How are we going to get rid of that? And it's just somehow it's getting the awareness out there. This is what your kids are seeing, and that's why I did this investigation. I want the average parent to know this is what your children are getting at school, and they just don't know.